City of Stephenville. I'm calling this City Council meeting to order. We have a couple of items of business tonight. First, we'll have a public hearing on the budget for the fiscal year 2013-2014. After that, we will pass resolutions establishing the time, date, and place of public hearings for the tax rate for 2013. Now, before we get into our public hearing, I would like to request that the record show that aside from the mayor, all members of the city council are present, as well as Betty Chu, Randy Thomas, and Cindy Stafford. Now, with that in mind, I would like first of all to call on Betty Chu to summarize briefly the budget that we are proposing.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. The total budget for all funds this year will be $20,512,042. We are proposing to use reserves of $470,000 in the general fund, reserves to fund operations in the water and wastewater fund of $158,589, and then $65,000 in the special revenue fund. You have in your packet the total expenditures that are proposed on page 1, which equates to the $20 million that we spoke of, and then you have the summaries on pages 2 through 6 for all funds. You also have the equipment replacement priority list. In the items noted in the gray are what are included in the proposed budget, and then you do have the personnel request on page 8. If you have any questions, I would be happy to answer those, or the directors are here for their respective departments.
Okay, do any members of the council have questions before we proceed to our hearing? Hearing none, we'll proceed to the public hearing. And the first person whom I shall recognize is Ms. Zena Mobley. Please give us your address for the record.
My address, I lease 684 North Graham Street. First of all, I feel like before the projected increase goes through, we need to ask several questions. What will be the surplus after the projected revenue goes through? What was the annual loss of Splashville? How much did we raise the employees' wages last year? How much profit has the Riverwalk given us? Lastly, I'm a single mother in Stephenville. This is my home. It always has been, lifelong member of Stephenville. I don't want to go anywhere else, but I will tell you it takes everything I make to stay here, to pay my rent, to buy property. I've owned property before, to put food on the table. I'm not the only one, so I think that we really need to reconsider the direction. It's simplistic to always say we just need to raise taxes to increase the revenue, but it's counterproductive, because we can drive business out. We lose profits. So I think y'all need to take into consideration. I think one thing that I want to make clear to everyone is this council will pretty much go down as a tax and spend council. So I think it was less than 2 years ago we increased quite a bit too. So it affects all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Who else wishes to address the council? Yes, sir. At the microphone, please give your name and address for the record.
I'm Freddie Goebel. I live right here in Stephenville. Live over on 413 Blue Bonnet. I as well are wondering when, if ever, we ever going to have this tax rollback where we get less taxes. All year long they say that how many businesses, how many houses were built, how many apartments and all this stuff. There's supposed to be revenue coming in. If all this is revenue extra revenue coming in, and you're giving increases to personnel, which I'm not saying they don't need, but I'm saying that you're giving them raises. Lots and lots of people are having to take a tax cut in their wages and their hours and things like this here. Wanting this place to grow, everybody is. I'm proud of Stephenville. You've done a very good job so far. But let's don't run it down with taxes. Let's use what the taxes we got with these extra revenue coming in. Get some more of these businesses in here as you're trying to do so. Let's keep the place beautified like you're trying to do. I think you're on the right track, but just don't put the burden on the taxpayers' back any more than necessary. If anything, let's see one go back one time. Just show this Texas by guy there is a city that can stand on its own with the money that's already being brought in. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Who else wishes to address the council at this time? Seeing nobody else, I will now close this hearing. It is our intention to vote on this budget at our first business meeting in September, which is, I believe, September 3rd. Naturally, before we vote, there will be more discussion from the citizens and perhaps amongst council members as well. Now, our next item of business is to determine when we are going to hold hearings on the proposed tax rate for 2013. And if you will turn to your council packets, page 11, you will note that it is suggested that hearings be held on September 3rd and September 10th. And with that in mind, I will entertain a motion to that effect. Yes, Mr. Evans.
I would make a motion that the first public hearing be held September the 3rd, 2013 at 5:30 p.m. at City Council Chambers, City of Stephenville, and that the second public hearing be held September the 10th, 2013 at 5:30 p.m. at City Council Chambers at the City of Stephenville.
Second.
I believe a motion has been made by Mr. Evans and seconded by Mr. Nix. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a vote. This vote has to be a recorded vote. And therefore, I think, Mrs. Stafford, if you could please call the roll.
Point of clarification, Mayor Pro Tem, we're just voting on this date?
We're voting on these two dates,
The two
yes.
dates, okay,
We're not
thank you.
actually voting on
On the
tax
budget or
rates.
the tax increase?
No, not at
Okay,
this time.
thank you.
Place 1, Mr. Hogle.
Aye.
Place 3, Councilmember Savine.
Aye.
Place 4, Councilmember McDowell.
Aye.
Place 5, Councilmember Pendleton.
Aye.
Place 6, Councilmember Nix.
Yes.
Place 7, Councilmember Taylor. Aye. Place 8, Councilmember Evans.
Yes.
And Mayor Pro Tem Cross.
I vote aye also.
Unanimous.
Thank you. This, I believe, completes the business before the city council tonight. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved, Mayor.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Nix, seconded by Mrs. Taylor to adjourn. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it, and this meeting is adjourned.